Good day here. It's John Florescu. I'm in Bucharest in Romania, and I'm welcoming Christina Mosey, who is the CEO of Devis, who's in Washington, as you can see at home, and Jim Walker, who is Chief Technology Officer. And I know you have another title as well, Jim, but I thought I'd keep it short, just CTO. It's UiPath, right?
UiPath, and particularly in their federal market.
I see. Okay. And I always want to know, what does the U and I stand for?
It's the user interface. So when you look at the glass on your computer, that's your user interface.
I see. Okay. I should have been able to figure that out. Christina has been working at Devis for about 20 years. And the company was founded in 1992. And UiPath is fairly well known. Every time I open an American magazine or there's something about UiPath, the only thing that changes it's value. And it was founded by a Romanian Daniel Dennis, who actually we see playing tennis around here from time to time. And it's gone from 1 billion to 7 billion to, I think, 10 billion. So you'd say a huge success. Welcome. Let me just ask you, Christina, just a few words about yourself and your company.
Sure. So we are a woman-owned small business here in Arlington, Virginia, incorporated in Arlington, Virginia. And we've been doing work with federal government for, 20 some years. I started with the company 2 years after it was founded, so I was not one of the founders. Started as a programmer and then eventually became the CEO and owner. So
I see.
Yeah.
And Jim, I was reading your background, very interesting, particularly I was reading about NASA, which impressed me greatly. A few things on yourself. I know you've had long experience at UiPath and building it tremendously.
Yeah, so thanks. I really appreciate even being here today. And Christine, it's nice to meet you. Jim Walker, I spent 32 years in the federal government, about 10 or 11 of those years as an Army artillery officer, and the rest of it in IT in the government. And fielded the first robot in the federal government when I was at the NASA Shared Services Center down in South Mississippi. Got out, was eligible to retire, came to work at UiPath, an incredibly amazing company with a great mission to democratize robotics and to really make work a better place for all of us. And it seems to be doing that based on our metrics that we're seeing in the government. And
how did you two, Alianza is about bringing, companies together, among other things, between the United States and Romania. Here we have a Romanian company now, like a New York-based company, I take it. And then, and how did you two come together? And how did the conversation begin?
it always starts with a party, right? So we attended the gala, Alianta Gala, and were introduced to UiPath through an acquaintance, since they were there. Actually, they were honored last year, 2019. And that we had always been thinking about, how do we make things better in technology in the federal government? And that introduction sparked our interest, and we're like, hey, we really need to talk to UiPath and get out and see what we can do with them.
And that was how long ago?
That was 2018.
2018.
The first time we crossed paths, and then 2019 is when we got serious about it.
Now, I know that when people think of automation, they think of poor people being thrown out of their jobs and getting some other kind of livelihood. And I'm sure you're quick to debunk,
Yes.
I know that's the myth or an affirmation. Either one of you want to take that one?
please,
Sure.
Christine.
I mean, I'll tell you from our customers, we're basically trying to move our staff and their staff to doing things that are more interesting. So get rid of the rote tasks that take up a lot of time, and then move their time to doing more analytical work that can really help the mission. So it's not about getting rid of stuff, of people. It's really about having them do more interesting work.
Jim, how do you see it in your end?
Yeah, so it really is a myth about the jobs. First of all, robotics takes tasks away. They don't take jobs away, right? UiPath signed up to the current administration's program called Pledge to American Workers. And we've actually pledged to retrain and reskill some 750,000 Americans over the next 5 years. And someone says, well, that's just, that seems strange. No, in order for work to be a better place, you're going to need to be a digital worker in a digital environment. but we've already seen the United States Department of Agriculture retrain 50 of its non-IT people to build automations. We've seen the General Services Administration take their finance people and retrain and reskill them in order to be developers, because the skill set that's going to be needed today and tomorrow is not the skill set that was needed 15 and 30 years ago. And so agencies around the government are doing that. In addition to that, we, UiPath, work with a company, a nonprofit in downtown DC called ByteBack, B-Y-T-E back, and they are helping people who are trying to learn automations and digital. And we've seen two of their people be placed in a job now as a result of robotics. And these are not minimum wage jobs. These are in the $85,000 to $100,000 jobs right now.
I see. So far from it, you're sort of giving people, in a way, you're saying a better shot in as much as you're taking away the dull stuff and giving them some interesting stuff. Can you give me an example of some of the types of jobs that come from this sort of alliance or lead to something better?
Sure. I mean, with our customers, for example, there was some work that we do with bringing people from overseas to train in the US. And there's a lot of bureaucracy related to that and processing of the visas and the documents and the forms. And I mean, it has to get done. It has to be done well. Accuracy, quality is important. And some of those functions you can use RPA for and make sure that it's always done correctly, because we don't want any mistakes when somebody shows up at the border and something's wrong. So we think like that's a huge productivity. And then people used to have to do that by hand, can now work on helping those people when they get here, providing either help desk support to them or analyzing information about who's coming, what are they coming here for, what programs are successful. You can start analyzing data, just getting into a different level of support.
I see. And Jim, when you obviously from the United States, you worked at NASA and I think other federal operations, I think in the Army as well. Does it startle you in a way that you have this Romanian company right in the heart of the United States working with all these American companies with Romanian workers? First of all, how many Romanian workers do you have and how many Americans do you have? And how does that all mix come together?
Oh, well, the advantage of being born as a global team, you know, that has people in Japan, people in Romania, India, the US, East Coast, West Coast, South America, is you really don't think that way. You don't think territorial.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a global economy now and you have to be global. But I will tell you though, people always say that to me and I go, hey, I worked for the US Missile Defense Agency for a while. And one of the control centers for the US Defense Agency is just outside of Bucharest, Romania.
Oh, yeah.
The U.S. working with Romania is nothing new, and it seems like it's always been complementary for both countries.
Is the business more based on American clients or global clients right now?
Oh, tremendous global presence. I mean, you pick a country and we're in there doing good, solid work, really helping them. You were talking earlier about what are the jobs. Can you imagine going into a hospital and instead of having 50 people in the back office entering insurance information, having them up front helping make sure a patient gets to their appointment on time?
Yeah.
You know, this is work that, you know, when people go home at night, they don't say, oh, I was so good at work today. I looked at 300,000 lines of a spreadsheet and I found most of the problems with it. That's the kind of work that this automation can get rid of so that we can get back to servicing people at a time in our global history that is probably needed more than ever.
Well, listen, we're going to keep it short because I know that you all are busy and you're both very nice to come on in tonight. It didn't give you much to say, but you gave everything you said was like gold here. So I'm sure, you know, we're all very appreciative. And anyways, I think this partnership is a fantastic partnership. I haven't seen a love affair since Nadia Comaneci and Romania in the United States all those years ago. So it really worked out well. And thanks for spending a little time. Maybe we can get you sometime in the future.
Absolutely.
It'd be great.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Jim, thanks a lot. Christina, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.